Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. I'm Nicodemus Kane. Today is November the 11th of 2022. There's going to be a lot of those people out there that are going to say, oh, it's 1111, make a wish. Not knowing anything about numerology, but whatever. Not knowing about anything about numerology nor what it means to make wishes, ask for things upon numbers, upon certain numbers, what it means, what numerology period means. Um, you'll see a lot of it though. Oh, it's 11 o'clock on 11/11. Let's all make a wish. You remember when everybody was talking about 2011? And it was 11/11/11, and everyone was like, "Oh no, we're gonna make a wish, and everything's gonna do this, and blah blah blah." And yeah, no, no, no. And of course, we have seen that humans can affect their own reality. The double slit experiment, if you don't know what that is, go look that up, has shown us that it is entirely possible for humans to mentally affect the world around us. And when you get enough nut jobs that think that something's happening, it may or may not happen. We affect the reality around us. We affect the ether around us. The ether affects us. There is something, some kind of energy in this world that causes us to be able to not only pull ideas and concepts and understanding out of it, but at the same time allows us to, I hate using the term manifest, I really do, to create these things, to cause these things to come into being. And part of the downfall of humanity that we are going through right now has been the mind control and manipulation of the world, of putting these things into people's heads and making them think over and over again. That's part of the process of the pandemics is, if it's put in your head that you can get sick just by going outside, your mind's going to make it happen. And for the weakest people that don't know how to find reality, those people that don't understand, don't have sovereignty over their own body, don't understand the truth, they're going to make that thing real, and they're going to make themselves sick, especially through fear and worry. You know how people say if you worry too much, you're going to make yourself sick. Yes, it's because you are manipulating your body through your mind. You're making these things happen. It's the same way as saying, oh, I've got a sore throat. I'm going to wind up getting sick. I just wish it would come and get it over with. You know, one of those things. Oh, I feel so bad. I feel cold coming on, And you make it happen. Never once do you stop and think to say, oh, my nose is stopped up. I'll just go blow it. I'm not going to get sick. It's going to be okay. My throat's hurting. I'll just drink some apple juice or some orange juice or something. I'm going to be all right. I'm not going to get sick. Don't worry about it. But then, of course, maybe your friend or something will come along and say, you sound like you're getting sick. You might want to watch out for that. And it puts that thought in your head, and your mind makes it real. I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to I'm not going to be bedridden. It's not going to happen. You have the power to be able to control your body. Not only through the way you think, speaking it into existence, but through prayer. That's what prayer, it's what part of it is. It's speaking these things into existence. The Bible never says, and Job thought, and Moses thought, and Christ thought to himself that, no, it never says that. Everything they did, they spoke. They spoke out into the world. There's something to it. God spoke the universe, the one verse, the one phrase that he needed to say. He spoke it into existence. We speak things into existence. I don't know how it works. I don't want to put it into anybody's thoughts that everything they say creates something. But there's power to that. And when you are constantly bombarded with fear and worry and bombarded with these things, and you start talking about them and you start putting them in your head and getting these concepts going, you make them real. And you need to stop doing that. You need to start praying out loud. Go find a place where you can sit and you can say these words. Talk these words out into the world. Say the good things. So that you will manifest the good things. I still hate that word. But you will make the good things happen. Yeah, people got sick over the past 2 years. You know why? Because they were inside of their house constantly worrying that they were going to get sick. That's what happened. And then, of course, they went out and they took these tests, which have been told to us. Even the guy that made the tests, he said that they weren't supposed to be used this way. The guy that made the test, this is not something that is a conspiracy theory. YouTube, don't pop me for medical misinformation. This is something that he said, that they weren't supposed to be used this way. The guy that made them won a Nobel Prize. You think we should listen to him, you know? But they went out there and they took the bad tests and they became a statistic. And then, you know, one thing led to another and everybody was worried. And fear drives the populace. It really does. And that's what you've seen. That's what you continue to see. You have these people now that are going out there saying that just because that person is a different color than you, they're going to kill you. They're more than happy to kill you right now. And that drives fear. And you know what? At one point in time, it wasn't like that. You know, I look back at the 60s and 70s, and I saw a pretty decent amount of people that were getting along pretty well. Maybe around the 80s and 90s, you know, we really started getting the news reports that, you know, some black man did something to somebody else. Some other black man did something to somebody else. And that was there. That was really there. It was in the early 2000s that somebody really started pointing that out. It was actually, no. It was right around when YouTube first started. Somebody was putting those videos together saying, look how they try to turn us against each other. And it was news reports, like a decade worth of news reports over and over and over again. And it was putting those news reports into white markets, creating fear. The media is your worst enemy. I'm not your enemy. The average white person in the world is not your enemy. The average black person in the world is not your enemy. For the majority of for the most part, we're all just trying to get along. We're all just trying to get through the day. We're not trying to kill each other. But the media, the same people that have been telling you that you should hate each other, have been doing it for years. They're the ones doing this. You should be storming the news centers. You should be storming the TV stations. You should be storming those places instead of going out and killing local businesses. But, that's just my opinion. But that's just another form of manipulation and control and fear that they've put in our heads over and over again. They've blasted it into our heads now that everybody is suspicious of everybody else. Everybody's ready to hurt somebody, kill somebody, maim and destroy. And the worst part is they've turned black people against each other through music, through gangsta rap. This whole generation of, multiple generations now of kids that are only told that they need to go out, get money, get bitches, get hoes, go have all the sex that they ever want to, and, leave them and dump them, make a entire generation of fatherless children to go out shooting each other on the street. Somebody wrongs you, you just pop a cap in the ass. That's exactly what it is, man. I was there when it started. And I didn't understand it at the time. Now I understand it. They pushed these things. They pushed them hard. And now you have an entire two generations. 2 generations of black men and women that have completely and totally flip-flopped from what they were in the 60s and 70s. And now suddenly it's come to the point to where they're saying, we demand respect from you. Okay, you the first thing I'm going to give you is an apology because you fell for it. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point you in the right direction. You're demanding respect from me whenever I never turned. Most people never turned. They never turned on you. You turned on everybody else because you fell for the lies just like everybody else. So now that you can know the truth, let's go deal with the biggest problem. Which again is the media, the politicians, the people in power, the education systems, which have failed because politicians have failed the education systems. First thing you really got to do is look into yourself. You have to change yourself. You have to understand that it is true when it says we need to not look at people based upon color, but based upon their character, the strength in their character. We have to understand that when you go around acting like an idiot, people are going to look at you like an idiot. It is your character, and you can change that. It's not something that's just ingrained at birth. That's a lie, too. That's just more subtle manipulation. You are not the same person you were when you were born. I don't care what anybody says. And that does not mean the sex that you were born as. That means that you are not, quote unquote, born that way. Especially if you're some kind of pretend what's the word I'm looking for? Pretend made up cockamamie nonsense. No, you need to understand the world has functioned the way it has functioned for thousands of years. If you believe your own history, if you believe what teachers tell you, the world has functioned this way for hundreds of thousands of years. Mankind is what I'm talking about. And never once has it faltered until the past 20 years. Give me a break. Give me a break. You can't blame Christianity for keeping all of this down. You can't blame religious persecution for keeping all of this down if it was longer than 2,000 years ago. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. You have the power to fix it. You have the power to control it. We all have the power to be able to do something about it. Again, it is what we have that we can use through prayer, that we can make ourselves, because we have some kind of control over this world. I don't know how it works, and I don't even want to get too far into it, but for some reason we are able to control this world through what we think and what we speak. And it's about damn time that we start speaking good things instead of keeping running ourselves into the ground constantly. So please pray. Just pray good things. Ask the Father to just help us. Help us understand. Help us understand. Help us turn away from the lies. Help us hear the truth in all things. Help us see the truth in all things. Help us become better people. Help those that are in need get the need that they deserve. Help us be able to afford to be able to not only feed ourselves, but to be able to feed our neighbor if we have to. Help us to be able to find comfort and peace in all things. It's possible. It's possible. I don't know how else to say it. And I don't even know where that came from. I don't even know how did I get onto that conversation? I usually don't even know. It's like 20 minutes after you're talking, you've flipped like 4 or 5 different subjects, and you're looking back and you're thinking, how in the hell did I get on this subject? Oh, yeah, because of the 11/11 nonsense. Yeah. Anyways, there was, it wasn't an 11/11, it was a 9/23. It was the first time I really started knowing or seeing the numbers 9/23. And it was, a couple years ago whenever they were talking about the sign in the skies, the constellations and Jupiter and Virgo and the dragon and all that stuff. And I think it was back in like June of that year, June or July of that year, where I just kind of posted something. This is before I purged my friends list on Facebook. And I just kind of posted something, and I was saying, it's a lot of people talking about 9/23. No. It was just whenever I was first starting to understand that we can manifest the world that we want just through positive thoughts, just through thinking and talking and speaking. And I said, why don't we take one day where we just think of all of the good things that we have, all the good things that we want and we need, and we that the world is able to create, and let's put it all on one day. And I said, let's just say September the 23rd, of that day. Let's put all of our good thoughts into one day, and then we'll go from there. So yes, I've done the same thing. I've said, hey, let's all think of something positive for one day. Um, I am I am just going to say keep positive all the time. Don't let fear and manipulation rule you. Find the truth, know the truth, speak the truth in all things, always. Don't let this world confuse you. That's all this world does, confuse you. They do their damn best to completely confuse and to hurt and destroy us. And you have to be level and grounded. It's why they call it an armor of God, because you're constantly in a battle. It's a spiritual war. It's a spiritual war, and words are a weapon. Speak the truth. Pray every day. Pray unceasingly. This is what the Bible tells us over and over again. Pray unceasingly. Speak it with your mouth. Don't just think it. Don't just wake up in the morning and sit on the side of your bed and just think to yourself, "Oh God, please, don't make it. Don't bring any more pain and misery to." You have to speak it. Close your eyes, bow your head. If you can get down on your knees and pray, get down on your knees and pray. Speak it out loud. Father, please help us. Please give me knowledge and understanding. And there's power in prayer. There's power in prayer. All right. Let's finish up Isaiah. Isaiah 66. Just another double number on a on a day that already has a bunch of double numbers. Yes, it is an 11-11-22. There's probably a whole bunch of esoteric, crazy nonsense going on there, but I don't even want to think about it. I have so many other things going on right now. It's like I said before, we are on the eve of a possible Florida trip. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm still trying to get the plans together. And everybody's just kind of dragging their feet. So I don't know what's going on anymore. I may be here for the whole week. You never know. Like I said, if I'm here for the whole week, then we're going to start Jeremiah, which is always a fun one. I like Jeremiah. Jeremiah's a good one. But if not, like I said, I might be on the road. I might be going down to Florida. Land of the free, apparently. I don't know how free it is. We will actually be able to get to stop and move around this time, I think. Because last time we went down after my stepfather died, it was rush, hurry, work, trying to get their house opened up and they're, emptied out and trying to get all the stuff out. And now it's just trying to go down and get the sentimental things that we forgot. And we could take our time doing it, but like I said, everybody's dragging their feet. We may not be leaving till Monday. We may not be leaving till Tuesday. I don't know. And if it's leaving by Tuesday, then it's just going to be rush, hurry. It's going to be 2 days down, 1 day there, 2 days back. That's coming back on Saturday or Sunday. That's I don't even want to get into it, man. That's just a pain in my butt. Anyways, Isaiah 66. It always feels weird to end the books like this because you're always like, where are we going now? But we know. It's like Psalms. When I got done with Psalms, I was like, what am I supposed to do now? And that was whenever God told me to read Isaiah. It is what it is. All right. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? For all those things hath mine hand made, and all those things have been, saith the Lord. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. He that killeth an ox is as if he slew a man. He that sacrificeth a lamb, as if he cut off a dog's neck. He that offereth an oblation, as if he offered swine's blood. He that burneth incense, as if he blessed an idol. Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abominations. I also will choose their delusions, and will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes, and chose that in which I delighted not. Okay, going back up to the top, there's a couple things I have to look up here, and we'll get to them as we go. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Now remember, this is after, in 65, Isaiah 65, we were right at the end of everything. We're talking about people living to be very old, and they shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit thereof. Everything they build will be theirs. Everything, the wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and everything will be beautiful and perfect. This will be the new Jerusalem. This will be the new city, the new way of doing it. Even though we kept seeing that there's still problems in this world. We're not inheriting heaven. We're inheriting a new place on earth. It's a very strange concept. But this is after all of that. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me, and where is the place of my rest? For all those things hath mine hand made, and all those things have been, saith the Lord. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor, and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. Now, all those things have been, saith the Lord. I will look upon the poor, and those of a conflicted, a smitten spirit. Those that are on the bottom, even to them. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. The rich or poor, worthy or unworthy, even I will look unto him, who trembles at my word, and I will give it to him. Now, this next line, though, kind of flips it on his head. This is talking about, the next ones sound like they're talking about people that have trembled at his words, yet I was thinking about it earlier, and I can't think of the way that I was thinking about it. Not following what he wants. Now you got to listen to the words, and we'll go through it as we go. He that killeth an ox is as if he slew a man. He that sacrificeth a lamb, as if he cut off a dog's neck. He that offereth an oblation, as if he offered swine's blood. He that burneth incense, as if he blessed an idol. Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abominations. You did these things in my name, maybe because you trembled at my word. You did these things in my name, yet they will mean nothing to me, because they will be empty and hollow, and I will look upon them and I will think, you're sending me these offerings, sending me these prayers, but there is nothing behind them, because you have done your own ways, and then yet you turn around and you try to follow my ways. Their soul delighteth in their abominations, which again is another one of those phrases where, because people chose to delight in their sins, to, as the line goes, believe the lie and delight in their sins, he will send them the strong delusion. It's because they choose to follow the ways of evil. They delight in following the ways of evil. They keep it for themselves, because following the ways of God, following what he wants, means that they would have to give that up. And the Bible says that over and over again in like 50 different ways. I have a where is that at? It's around here somewhere. One of these is it here? Anyways, one of these post-it notes on my desk has a list of about, I'd say, 10, maybe 15 different, I can't find it, 10 or 15 different verses in the Bible where it constantly says either he gave them strong delusion, he let them have, he let them have their evil. It's what they wanted. They delighted in it. They did the things of evil because they wanted to do it. It's similar to, they go out of their way to plant the trees so that they could cut them down and turn them into idols. Or, they go out of their way to do these things of evil because they want to delight in that evil. They don't want to have anything to do with what God is selling. They don't want to listen to it. They don't want to be a part of any part of it whatsoever. They want to fall into those traps, into those snares. And God lets them do it. And you even hear that in the next verse. This is verse 4. I also will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them. I will choose their delusions. I will give them over to their lies. I will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them. I will bring their fears upon them. I want to make sure that I'm reading that right. Their fears, their terrors. Of course, this also says storehouse and granary. I will bring their granaries upon them. No, I will bring... what is this? Vexations. I will choose their vexations. I will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them. I will choose it for them. They don't want to follow me. They delight in what they do. They've chosen their own way. So I will give them over to the lie. I will give them their delusions. I will give them their fears. I will give them all the things that they want because they choose not to believe in me. I will give them over to the lie. Sadly, that also means that they will be condemned because they choose not to. This is a choice. It's a free choice. It's free will. Some people say, oh, there is no free will, that we're all fated to do whatever we want to, and yada, yada, yada. We follow along a plan. We follow along a plan that God knows. God knows the beginning, the end from the beginning. He understands everything that's going to happen. He can put blocks in your way, change your path any way he wants to, anytime he wants to, so that you can make the choice. He gives you the opportunity to be able to find if you want to follow it or not. At some point in time, I think, and there's been a lot of people that have talked about this. What about the people that have never heard God's word before? Well, at some point in time, everybody's heard it at least once. And you can't grow up in America without hearing it at least once. You know, whether it is through a schoolmate or through, you know, some television indoctrination or whatever it is. And that goes along with, you know, whether you're hearing something good or you're hearing something bad. If you hear bad things about God and Christ all your life, what are you going to think? You're going to think they're the most terrible people in the world. But at the same time, no matter how much terrible things you hear, you're going to hear the good. You're going to hear people talk about how good it is. You're going to see these people that are living righteously, that are enjoying their lives, and you're going to get to have the choice whether you want to look further into it and follow it, or whether you just want to give yourself over to your own delusions. And God would be more than happy to let you have that. I think that's a part of every person's existence, every person's life, is we all go through the same thing. And it's a choice. It's not forced. I think if it's forced, then whoever's forcing it upon you is definitely doing it wrong. And I hear so many people say, well, God forces you to do that. God doesn't force you to do anything. God doesn't force anybody to do anything. People make that choice. If people are making a choice where they're forcing their beliefs on other people, then they're doing it wrong. Especially the Catholic Church in the Middle Ages. They were doing it wrong. You can point to that and see it 100%. Yes, God told many people to go wipe people out that, you know, were sinners and blasphemers and all that stuff, but you need to read the Bible and understand exactly who the hell these people were. He was wiping out an entire race of mutant freaks and giants and monsters. He was saving your world. He wasn't hurting it. You need to stop with that nonsense. Anybody that's going out and killing anybody for their sins right now, they're not doing it right. That is not some holy crusade that is meant to happen. They do not understand the Bible. They're cherry picking verses where it says go out and slaughter and manipulate and destroy. No, that's not what we're supposed to do. There is something in here that says that you resist tyrants, that you have the ability to be able to stand up for yourself, not just roll over and play dead. There's nothing in here about going out and forcing God's belief on other people. I'm sure some atheist could probably point and be like, look, see, this says yada 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 yada. It's okay, that's fine. If I can see it, then I'll agree with it. But every single time he's ever told anybody to go out and wipe these people out or wipe something, you know, do this, do that, the context has always been these people need to go. If these people aren't gone, it's going to cause worldwide problems that we need to, you know, We're going to be back to the days of Noah, and what are you going to do then? What are you going to do then? You're going to have mile-high giants eating people everywhere. Anyways, back to verse 4. I also will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them. Because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear. But they did evil before mine eyes, and chose that in which I delighted not. You chose to turn away. You chose to do the things. You didn't listen to him. You didn't see what he was trying to do. When he called you, you didn't answer. And you decided while he was watching to do evil right in front of his face. And he told you over and over again, as a father would a child, but you didn't listen to me, and you had to be punished. It's what it is. Any father, because so many kids now are fatherless, they don't understand what true discipline and love is. They hear something like that and they think, oh, I would never have a father beat me. That'd be the worst thing in the world. No, you don't understand what true discipline and love is. You don't understand what it means to be fatherly. Take care of your children. Show them that if they choose to constantly go out and do these things the way that they're doing them, they will hurt themselves. So you use discipline and punishment to keep them from that. So many people, they get on this kick of, oh, discipline. Oh, we can't have discipline anymore. It's barbaric. It's cruel. Oh, it's so cruel. You can't discipline your own kids. Put them in timeout. Make them not do it for a while. Yeah, how's that working out for you? Since the, 1980s? Since we slowly started making it to where you couldn't punish your kids? Where this new timeout rule has the world gotten better or worse? I'm just asking questions. Has the world gotten better or worse? I'm not saying you need to go out and beat the shit out of your kid. But they do need some kind of discipline. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. They need something more than, oh, you just need to sit in quiet for a while. Just go sit in timeout. It'll be okay. You'll think, sit in a corner. Sit in a corner, most likely in a room that has a television going. And just think about what you did. Think about what you did. I'll think about what I did. I stole a candy bar. I ate the candy bar. And now I'm getting punished by sitting in timeout. Well, okay, let me think about what I did. Well, I didn't have to pay for a candy bar and I ate it and it was good. Well, shit, I can just go do that again. Why not? Psh, no. God, no. What the... It's insane, man. It's absolutely insane. We have created we've created two generations. It's not even just the kids now, it's their damn parents as well. We've created two generations of spoiled little brats that think that the only way that they can survive is by falling on the ground, yelling and screaming. The only way that they can get their point across is by going and destroying things and then gluing themselves to the wall or gluing themselves to the road, or by yelling constantly. They think the louder they yell, the more somebody's going to hear them. You know who does that? Children do that. Little tiny children do that. 4-year-olds do that. Scream as loud as they possibly can in order for them to get their point across. And you can't get them to calm down either. And they just keep going and going, and they have to be more and more. They have to be louder and louder, and until the point to where you get 12-year-old kids that will destroy an entire house because they had their phone taken away. I saw the video of that. I don't know if it was true or not. You can't trust videos anymore. They destroy their entire house to get views on YouTube or something in order to generate money. It's like the guy, the videos of the father that will go in and the perfectly framed videos of the father that will go into the room and destroy their kid's PlayStation 4, put it on the internet and get 1 million views. Now, as far as the apartment that this kid trashed, I don't know. But apparently it's what it was. It was a 12-year-old kid that their mom took her phone away, and the kid went nuts. The kid went nuts and trashed the apartment, the entire apartment, everything, from top to bottom, breaking mirrors, breaking windows, broke the toilet, just completely obliterated this place, just because it got a phone taken away. Dude, what the hell? I beat that kid's ass. I'm sorry. I'd take that kid out into the street and I'd beat him in front of the public. I would embarrass him everywhere, because that's over the top, man. That's way over the top. But that's what it is. They have no sense of being punished whatsoever, because no one has learned discipline. No one understands discipline, because there's no more fathers. There's no more fathers. And even the fathers now, they don't know what discipline is. They don't know how to discipline their kids, because they're told, don't discipline your children. And again, I'm not telling you that we have to go out and beat our children. Spanking, hey man, I'll spank a kid all day, because that seems to work. It worked for generations upon generations before this. But to tell a kid you did something wrong, go sit and think about what you did, what are they going to do? They're just going to do the same old shit. There's no lesson learned. Just my thoughts. That's probably so, man, what's the word on that one that I want? That's probably so over the top thinking that might even get my video pulled. Oh, you're creating violence against children. Creating violence against children. I'm creating discipline upon children is what I'm doing. Not violence, discipline. All right, give me 1 second, and then we will jump on to verse 5. Hold on. Okay. And of course, everybody's got their opinions. I'm trying to fix my mic. Everyone's got their opinions on what you do with kids. My mom used to spank the shit out of me. I get it. I really do. I get it. It's not fun, but there was a lesson that was learned there, There was definitely lessons learned. Bible itself says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Anyways, let's keep going here, because I am doing that thing where all I do is talk about other stuff and I never talk about the Bible. So, verse 5. And there are no more pilcrows here, so this whole thing, it's like 20 verses we're going to have to go through. All right. Verse 5. Hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. A voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of the Lord that rendereth recompense to his enemies. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. Who hath heard such a thing? Who hath seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Shall I bring to the birth, and not cause to bring forth, saith the Lord? Shall I cause to bring forth, and shut the womb, saith thy God? Rejoice ye with Jerusalem, and be glad with her, all ye that love her. Rejoice for joy with her, all ye that mourn for her, that ye may suck and be satisfied with the breasts of her consolations, that ye may milk out and be delighted with the abundance of her glory. For thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and the glory of the Gentiles like a flowing stream. Then shall ye suck, ye shall be borne upon her sides, and be dandled upon her knees. As one whom his mother comforted, so will I comfort you, and ye shall be comforted in Jerusalem. And when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb. And the hand of the Lord shall be known toward his servants, and his indignation toward his enemies. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to rend his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. That they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination, and the mouse, shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, that draw the bow, to Tubal and Javan, to the isles afar off, that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory. And they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto the Lord out of all nations upon horses, and in chariots, and in litters, and upon mules, and upon swift beasts, to my holy mountain Jerusalem, saith the Lord, as the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of the Lord. And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, saith the Lord. For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh. Okay. That's a lot to take in, and a lot of confusing words, especially at the beginning of all of that. Let's see if we can get through all of this and figure out what's going on. Please, Father, give us the understanding of your words today. Back up to verse 5. Hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy. And they shall sneeze. Hold on. This is what happens when you blow your nose and your nose isn't ready. Man, I just killed a box of Kleenexes. Great. Hold on one more second. All right. I was outside again yesterday, mowing leaves, and so I came in and I blew my nose, and it was just nothing but dirt. This is probably still me cleaning out from yesterday. But your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. Okay, because the Bible does this thing where it doesn't use complete and total what's the word? Punctuation. It doesn't use the right punctuation. So, because I called, or no, wait, where are we at? Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified. These are the people that cast out God. These are the people that they, again, these are the ones that we're talking about that are coming around. You know, they want to glorify God. They want to be a part of it. Of course, they're not doing it right. It's what he said. They're killing an ox, and they're making these sacrifices. They're doing all these things, and he's going to be like, no, that's not the way this works. I'm not going to follow in your abominations. I'm not going to follow in with your lies. You're bringing all these things to me, and I know the way that you've gone, and that's not the way I wanted it. So all these people that are coming around are now saying, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy because you followed it, and they shall be ashamed. Now I get it. So this is why you have to reread these things. A voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of the Lord that rendereth recompense to his enemies. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. Why that's in there, I don't know. It's very strange that they just kind of slipped that in there. And then it goes back to another one, and then it goes back to this thing about the birth. It's very weird. Who hath heard such a thing? Well, I'm kind of wondering myself, because you just kind of slipped it in on me. Who hath seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Shall I bring to the birth and not cause to bring forth? Saith the Lord. Shall I cause to bring forth and shut the womb? Saith the Lord. Now what is this whole, does it tell me, let me see. Shall I cause and not cause to bring forth? What does that mean? To bear young, to beget, to, of childbirth, to be born. Okay. Shall I bring to the birth? Oh. Okay, wait a minute. Before she travailed, before she suffered torture, she brought forth. Okay, so before she gave birth, or before she travailed, she brought forth, which means she had a kid before she was hurting. Who heard such a thing? Who hath seen such things? There is no woman that has ever just made a kid not hurting or in pain or anything. Shall I bring to the birth and not cause forth? Shall I bring to the Now, of course, this says the word birth means to break in pieces, to be broken. Well, shall I split the womb and and not cause to bring forth, not cause the kid to come, saith the Lord? Shall I cause to bring forth and shut the womb? There it is. Because you have to have one thing before the other. Because this is why we read these things. Those people that cast you out, that called names, that did all these things to you, the bad people that did to you, they're now coming around saying, "Praise the Lord! We did all these things. Praise God." As an allegory, or as an illusion, I guess. It's saying, who heard a thing that, a woman gets to have a kid without going through any birth pains? Who says you get to come into heaven without doing what God asked you to do? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Shall God do these things? Shall God bring forth from the womb without... Well, shall God make somebody be born by keeping the womb closed up? Shall he let these sinners who have followed their own ways, who have delighted in what they did, shall he let them into the kingdom without them doing anything? No, of course not. That's what that says. It's the most roundabout way of saying it. It took me a second to figure it out. I finally get it, though. The first time I read it, I was like, what the heck? Verse 10, Rejoice ye with Jerusalem, and be glad with her, all ye that love her. Rejoice for joy with her, all ye that mourn for her, that ye may suck and be satisfied with the breasts of her consolations, that ye may milk out and be delighted with the abundance of her glory. Which is, you know where that's going. Be glad that you are a part of it, that you're her child, that you can enjoy what she gives you. Let's put it that way. I could go through a million different things about milk coming out of women's breasts, but we're not going to go there. For thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and the glory of the Gentiles like a flowing stream. Then shall ye suck, and ye shall be borne upon her sides, and be dandled upon her knees. I'm going to guess that dandled means delighted, to sport, to play upon her knees. When I first saw that word, I was like, what the hell is dandled? This is why you go back and you reread it, so that you can get a little bit more understanding. If you just blow through it, you'll miss all the good stuff, all the best stuff. When we blew through it the first time, you never heard, hey, all these people that put you out and did all these things to you, now they're coming back saying, oh, God is great, God is good, all this stuff. And then it says, I mean, seriously? You think I'm going to bring out the child before the woman has pains? You think I'm going to let these people into the kingdom without them doing the work? That's what that says. I'm not going to just let these people in just because they decided to change their minds. These people, just like everybody else, have to give themselves over. They have to follow my commandments. Listen to what I'm saying. There's a message in here. Verse 13, As one whom his mother comforted, so will I comfort you. and ye shall be comforted in Jerusalem. And when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb. And the hand of the Lord shall be known toward his servants, and his indignation toward his enemies. This is self-explanatory. I don't need to go over this stuff. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. There will actually be far more dead than you will ever be able to contemplate. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination, and the mouse, shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. Those that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, yet do all the other garbage, eating the swine's flesh, and the abomination. I thought swine's flesh was the abomination. What was that one again? 17. Detestable thing or idol, an unclean thing. Hog, pig, swine's flesh of the, yes. What about the mouse? The mouse is weird. Eating the mouse. That's a very weird, very specific. That's a very specific thing, don't you think? Eating the mouse. But that's what that word is, just mouse. As nibbling. Nibbling as a mouse? That's just a weird one, man. It is a very specific line. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens, behind one tree in the midst, yet they're eating the swine's flesh and the abomination, and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come, and I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall they shall come and see my glory. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations. There's a bunch of nations here, and we like to look these up to get meanings of these. To Tarshish. Tarshish was, before I run off at the mouth, yellow jasper. City in Palestine, a distant part of Mediterranean Sea, to which the prophet Jonah was trying to flee. Tarshish was where the ships came from. The ships of Tarshish. To Tarshish, Pul, P-U-L, Pul, distinguishing the Babylonian name for Tiglath Pileser, the third name of an Assyrian king and of an Ethiopian tribe. To Tarshish, Pul, and Lud. Lud? Is it Lud or Lud? Lydia. Strife. The name of two nations, descendants of Lud, the son of Shem, who settled in northern Africa. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations. To Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, which is northern Africa, that draw the bow. To Tubal. Remember, Tubal-Cain is, he was he wasn't even just a great archer. He was a great hunter, but he was also a maker. He was a machinist. I cannot remember exactly how to say it. Let me see if I can search it and see what it says. I love how you look up Tubal and we're talking about, it talks about female reproductive organs. Okay. Seriously. He was a blacksmith. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Forger of all instruments of bronze and iron. There we go. He was one of those that created a lot of these, a lot of the objects. Of course, a Tubal Cain is the Masonic. It's the anchor, the people of the sea. The symbol that looks like Facebook. I'll pull you in here. I'll show you. Watch. Check it out. The Tubal Cain. See how this stuff works, man? The image of Facebook. That's the F. There's a lot of Noah in here, the movie. Yeah, Facebook right there. Everything you know is symbolism. I've said this before. Everything you know is symbolism. Everything you know comes from some symbol from some other place. But even though this is a rope around a Tubal Cain, this is also a it's an anchor. It's the people of the sea, those mariners, those ones that were from the waters. We talk about the mariners, the people of Tarshish. We talk about these things. It's over and over and over again. That's what this stuff is. You see this symbolism everywhere. You have to understand what this stuff means. You get it? All right. Let's pull you back out there. So I say symbolism everywhere. It is amazing how much symbolism there is, and really, it's not even hidden anymore. It's like all you have to do is just do just a moderate amount of research, and it's just right there in front of your face. But people don't want to see it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to. They don't want to understand it. They just think you're crazy, and you're nuts, and you're stupid. Well, that's. You know why? It's because I also will choose their delusions and bring their fears upon them. They're too busy worrying about everything else in the world that they're not giving any respect to the truth. Remember, the word fear is respect. It's not to fear and terror. It is respect as well. I also will choose their delusions. The things that they think are real that are not real. I will give them the lies that they want to believe and will bring their fears upon them. They will fear and respect the lies that they choose to believe, but they will not fear and respect the truth that you are trying to give them simply because you want them to hear it. You want them to hear the truth. They will not do it. They will not respect your truth. They will not give you any understanding whatsoever. God gives them over to strong delusion. Time and time again we see it. To Tarshish pull and lewd that draw the bow, to Tubal and Javan, to the isles far off. Javan was another one of those kids of a son of Japheth and grandson of Noah. These are still the same kids that, whenever they went out, these are the guys from Greece. So we're still talking about around the Mediterranean. The people of the waters. The people that made the ships. From that place, they spread. You're talking about the Egyptians. We're talking about the Grecians. We're talking about, the Ethiopians. All these people spread all the way across the world. They were not just stuck in one place. They made big, huge ships. Egyptian ships were able to cross the oceans. They want to tell you constantly over and over again, oh no, Egyptians couldn't do that. They wouldn't be able to handle the high seas. Yes, those big, huge monster ships can handle the high seas. I don't want to ever hear that nonsense because we find Egyptian artifacts, we find their culture, their customs, we find their gods, everything in America. I mean, somewhere along the line, the Egyptians crossed the ocean. It's either that or they crossed land bridges. It's one or the other. We talked about that too. It's about you take the water just 300 feet, remove 300 feet of water from the world, and you can walk all the way across. These people weren't isolated. Your history lies to you. Your history wants to tell you that these people were isolated from each other, that all they did was stay in their pockets of existence and they never moved out anywhere else, that the Americas were never even remotely colonized until the what 400th or no, not the 400th. Okay, listen to me. Till like the 4th, 5th century. That's what they want to tell you. Is that there was this plot of land that was just sitting there doing absolutely nothing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years until the Indians decided to move in from Samoa and Alaska. Is that they just magically said, hey, let's go see what happens when we cross over here. No, that's not what happened at all. Don't listen to their lies anymore. It's all bullshit. It's all absolutely bullshit. It was an untouched wilderness for thousands and thousands of years until the Indians came in the 4th, 5th century. And then once they got here, what did they do? Well, they built great, huge mounds and pyramids, and they decided that they're going to do all this stuff. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You're telling me that all the Indians moved in the 4th and 5th century and decided to build all these things that people had stopped building thousands of years before that? What? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The Romans were building giant colosseums and, big, huge columned buildings, all these things. And then just magically out of the blue, the natives that moved into the Americas decided they wanted to start building pyramids again. Do you get it yet? Do you see how it works? This is what they want you to believe. Is that they got over into America and they just built these pyramids, 400, 500 years after the Roman Empire was building gigantic colosseums and gigantic, columns, buildings with gigantic columns. It doesn't make sense anymore, does it? It doesn't make sense. It's so far off the charts that if you can't see the lie, then you're just going along with it just to go along with it. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. I've been there. I've been to the mounds in Illinois. It's the story they tell you just doesn't line up. It doesn't match what they're telling us. These people had the same exact gods, symbology, rituals, building designs as ancient Egyptians, as the people in Mesopotamia, and what's the other one? Not Persia. Oh, come on now. My mind is not working. Peoples that were older than the Romans, let's just put it that way. We're talking, 1,000, 2,000 BC. People that, according to your history books, were that old were making that stuff in 400, 500 AD. It doesn't make sense. I'm just going to throw that out there. Anyways, you just got to put this stuff together. And Javan to the isles afar off, that have not heard of my fame. Now, wait a minute. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, that draw the bow, to Tubal, to Javan, to the isles afar off. To the isles afar off. How far away is Greece from Jerusalem? That's not a far off. That's right there. That's, you jump into a boat. You could sail across. That's not isles afar off. Yet again, we're here. We're at this point. This is not isles afar away. It took 40 years for Moses and his people to walk around in a big circle in the wilderness of Egypt. They did that because God forced them to do that. And yet they could have made it to Jerusalem in less than a month. That's not a far off. Christ walked almost the entirety of the Mediterranean in less than 3 years. That's not a far off. Your Bible's telling you something. Your Bible's telling you something. We're talking about Tubal-Cain, or we're talking about Tubal, we're talking about Javan, we're talking about Tarshish, we're talking about the people of the sea. Even the Strong's Concordance says that these people lived in the Mediterranean and Ethiopia and Greece and all these things. Did they? The isles afar off. It's the difference between saying, if you believe that your sister city being 40, 50, 60 miles away is considered to be a far away, or if you're talking about islands that are 10,000 miles away on the other side of the earth. Think about it for a second. I'm not saying that is what it is. I'm just saying that, we constantly talking about people going to the Americas, and this is isles afar off. You're talking about Jerusalem. We're talking about Jerusalem. Jerusalem sits right on the Mediterranean Sea. It's right there. It's probably less than a week to jump in a boat and travel to Greece. Think about it for a second. That's not far off. All right, I'll quit. Neither have seen my glory, and they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles, and they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto the Lord out of all nations, upon horses, and in chariots, and in litters, and upon mules, and upon swift beasts, to my holy mountain Jerusalem, saith the Lord. As the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of the Lord. All these people from afar off shall bring all these things to Jerusalem. And it'll only take a couple days because they're right there. What do you want? And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, saith the Lord. For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. Now, something that we skipped over, we're talking about the Gentiles bringing the people, God's people, back. And they shall bring back, these are all the people that escaped to the islands, shall bring them back and declare their glory, and they shall bring back all your brethren back to Jerusalem. And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, saith the Lord. Okay, all right, I got it now. For as the new heavens, new earth, so shall your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, for they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh. This is the new earth, the new Jerusalem. There shall be carcasses of men burning in the fire forever and ever. Amen. And there shall be Sabbaths, and there shall be new moons, and they shall all come and worship at the appointed days. There will not be holidays. You will not be celebrating Easter and Christmas. You shall not be having Sunday worship. You shall not. You shall not be doing these things of the pagans. You shall be coming on the new moons, which is the festivals, from one Sabbath to another, and they shall all be coming to worship before me. You need to understand what this is telling you. Not only did this verse tell you that what you think of your map, what you were told about history is not real, but what you were told of religion is not real either. All the way around. Wow. Okay. Right up to 7:30. All right. So that is where I'm going to stop. Wow. Right at the end too. You hear stuff like that. It's like I said, you have to put it together. You have to put these things together. The Isles afar off, and we could be talking about England. I mean, we don't have to be talking about America. We could talk about England. We could be talking about, the Northern Isles. But then again, because we know there were these artifacts. I mean, the Google wants to sit there and tell me that Tubal-Cain was an Egyptian god. Okay, well, Egyptian god that they say resides in they say that resides in the Isles afar off. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations. Shall come to pass that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto all nations. To Tarshish pole, that draw the bow, to Tubal, to Javan, and to the isles afar off that have not heard my name, neither have seen my glory. Places that have not heard my name. It also talks, I cannot remember where it was, that when Jerusalem burned, whenever the Babylonians took over, that they would flee to a place that they had not seen. They would go off in ships to a place that they had not seen, and they would reside there. It actually says that you will be taken there as slaves to a place that you have not seen, to a place that has a different language than you, and that's before all of this stuff happens. What happens after this? This is after everything has been burned, and he's sending out people that want to bring them all back in to the isles that are far off to bring them back. The more I hear about America being anything beside just some random country out in the middle of nowhere that nobody decided to visit until the early centuries of the last 2 millennia. The more I understand that that's what it was. There's people here. Your history is a lie. Everything is a lie. All right, I've got to stop so I can go to work. Maybe not yawn right in your ear. Hey man, time to get up, time to go to work, time to go do the stuff. I may or may not be doing this for a week. Just pointing that out. I don't know what we're doing. I still don't know what we're doing. Hopefully, I get some answers today. We'll figure out what's going on, and then after that, it's like I said, Jeremiah. Should be interesting. Should be interesting. Jeremiah is always an interesting book. Just in time for Christmas. All right. You guys take care of yourselves. God bless. Don't believe the lies, man. This world is doing its absolute best to try to get you to believe the lies, and there are so many people that are falling for it because they choose it. They want it. They desire in it. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for the nonsense. All right. I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, I'll see you then. Take it easy.